So where we last left off, and I'm going to go ahead and go, let's see. Excellent. They're a little bit off, but that's okay. So where we last left off, or where we're starting today, is getting into the town of Oakhurst. So it took about an hour from the time you finish the combat to the time you enter Oakhurst. So let's talk a little bit about healing up, and let's talk a little bit about what you all are doing in between the fight and the town. We know that Sherog is busy drawing her map, which I actually have, so that's going to be pretty cool.
It's such a good map.
It's so good.
It really is. It's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, let's go ahead and do
as
that.
I am.
Go ahead.
As I am unwounded and fiercely protective, I have to imagine that what is the rest of the trip to Oakhurst going to be like is a big factor.
Yes, that makes sense.
So good.
So for those at home, this is the map that Alexis, the player of Sherog, made. This is the tactical map for how to pub crawl in Oakhurst. This is, as of right now, the only canonical map of Oakhurst in this continuity. We are going to be,
and we're just ruining it for sure because it's top secret.
yes.
I need this on a shirt for personal reasons.
I really need this on a shirt too. Yes.
Yes. If and when we do merch, that'll definitely be one of the first things that we do. Yeah.
I have a merch account, so
awesome. I don't yet, but we'll make that happen. So Oakhurst. It is an uneventful time going to Oakhurst from here. You arrive sometime just after sunset. You're probably bedraggled. Some of you might still be bleeding. You definitely have some clothes that are shredded, I'm sure. Is there any kind of healing magic that's happening on the way back?
Could we have taken a short rest on the way?
Since a short rest is an hour, no.
We have a
we're trying to get to Oakhurst to take the short rest.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Yes, you will get a long rest in a little bit. So I don't know if it's really that or important.
So it's been only a couple of hours since our fight?
It's been about an hour, yeah. Okay. But
an
hour of travel rather than an hour of rest.
Yeah, I used one of my spells to heal. I can do, hold on. Let me see here, because I had done. Oh wait, I've got to look it up. Hold on. My gosh.
I'm willing to hand wave the healing because I know that between. I know that you probably have enough healing to make it to the end. This isn't supposed to be the high danger part of the campaign. Kistrel says indecent exposure for an inn name, which I love. I think that's a great one. We'll keep that in mind.
Does this feel...
Are we gonna keep Alexis's the Blue Serpent Tavern? Because I feel like we should.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
It's called indecent exposure because the real name is in Elvish and no one locally speaks Elvish.
I love it. Absolutely love it. There are other in puns happening in chat as well. Incoherent, inconceivable. I love it. I'm a big fan. Inconceivable is especially good. So you enter the town. Now I'm going to go ahead and do a quick description of Oakhurst using an actual physical book. My God, what am I doing?
Oh, we get box text.
So
box text.
Yes, box text. So the community closest to the Sunless Citadel is a village called Oakhurst. Most of its 900 residents, including the outlying farms, are human, but there are a bunch of halflings as well. And canonically, now there are no elves in this town. It's mostly humans and halflings. And Oakhurst is the kind of town that isn't even on a map. It's so tiny that you kind of just have to walk the road until you find it. But
it has more than 3 inns.
Yes, because and here's sort of the thing. As you enter the town, you do end up finding a town that is much larger and better off than you expected. You were expecting this really podunk, out ass crack of nowhere kind of village, but actually you get there and not only are there 3 inns, but the town is actually kind of bustling, all things considered.
I was expecting 1 horse. There are as many as 5 or 6 horses in this town.
So in modern day, it would have mysteriously 4 streetlights instead of 1.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And in fact, the Jeff found an old map from the, I think, first
Ancient
running
era
of this, from 3rd edition.
In the olden text, yes.
It's literally just a crossroads in that. However, in our canon, because these fruits, these very magical and very expensive fruits, have been being sold at this place, even though there's only a small number of them, the wealth of the town has increased, and the tourist attraction has begun to increase as well. 4 streetlights, 6 Starbucks.
and 1 Dunkin' Donuts.
And Marcus says "Stumble In" is another really good one. I love all of these names;
that
they're
one's
amazing.
Good.
Yeah, I like.
I'm here for in puns.
I think that the Stumble In is a good home for the Joe's special as for just
Yes.
Yes.
Agreed.
Yes.
Done and done. Whoever keeps notes, make sure to keep notes, because I definitely don't have the time for that while I'm running this game. So you get to town. The very, very first thing that Sherog does is, like, the moment you cross the town line, she's already in a tavern. Like, one of you turns to see where she was, and she's just not there. And she will be drinking and eating while you are exploring. So what is the first thing that the group does when they get to town?
Inn, food, drink.
Sure. So
rest, like securing place to rest is, and then going over the rules. Do not add to the population. Do not subtract from the population.
Let's talk a little bit more about those rules. So you can find, there are 3 taverns. We've got the Blue Serpent. We've got Indecent Exposure, and we've got Stumble In. Those are the 3 inns in Oakhurst. Which one are you going to first, or which one are you going to?
Well, so if we follow the map that Shar has given us, because I fully believe that Shar is the one who is like directing my retainer who's driving the cart, we're probably going to hit the Stumble In first.
Yes. And I don't think that the Blue Serpent Tavern is an inn. I think that's a straight up pub.
Just a bar.
Because we have Scotch eggs, and then there's those turkey legs. So the turkey, we've got a 3rd inn to name, and then the Blue Serpent Tavern. So she probably went straight to the Blue Serpent Tavern.
Now, does that map say the turkey legs are at the Blue Serpent, or are they at...
No, they're at a different location that is across the street from the Blue Serpent.
But it's got a cross on it. What does that mean?
Maybe there was a bad experience, or maybe she's banned from there.
I'd say that cross means attack, but that's just me. I don't read notation that well.
Thank you for your cheer, Marcus. Last time we actually managed to get to Hype Train level 3, which was absolutely absurd.
It was pretty baller.
Always very much appreciate it. In fact, I have been using the money that folks have been donating to upgrade my equipment and level up the stream. So thank you there. Thank you. So you're going to go into Stumble first with Joe's special, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Excellent. So Sherog is not there when you get there. She has bounded off to somewhere else. When you get in, so let's talk a little bit about this tavern. Now, for the viewers, one of the things about DMing that makes people really nervous is the need to, off the top of your head, come up with NPCs and names and voices and buildings and stuff, right? That's a
what
thing
we have that for.
A lot of folks have a really hard time with that, and part of this stream is to try to help people who might be nervous about DMing learn that they can, in fact, DM. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to export a lot of what is in this inn to my players, and I'm going to ask each of you a question really quick. So for starters, I'm going to start with Jen. How full is the tavern when you get in?
I'm gonna say, what time is it?
It's evening.
Just after,
yeah, it's
pretty
after
full.
sundown.
It's pretty full. Probably not as full as the Blue Serpent Tavern, but I feel like it's pretty full. Joe's Special sounds like a dinner item, but I'm not really certain what Joe's Special is because it doesn't say on the map.
Hey Jeff, what's Joe's Special?
Joe's Special is just a mysterious bowl of slop that is extremely delicious, but also definitely alcoholic.
There is not a single ingredient in Joe's Special that you can quite identify, but it's one of the most delicious things you've ever eaten.
Yes, it is like somewhat. People have accused him of everything from sorcery to being blessed by the divine powers, and clearly he is a powerful mage blessed by Mystra herself. No one really cares ultimately because the food's delicious.
Yeah, and farmers, they work hard all day. They come to the tavern. They just want something that's going to stick to their ribs. Now, most of the folks in the tavern are indeed farmers. And they're sitting around and they're drinking and they're talking. There are at least one or two folks in the tavern that look unusual, that are strange or special in some way. Who is at the bar that catches your notice immediately?
I'm going to actually say, since this town has a population of 0 elves, I'm going to say it's probably some sort of elf.
Totally.
Because that would stand out, right?
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
I was about to say the population now has a half of an elf, but
but we don't live here.
We don't live here.
We're just visiting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say probably an elf. A little bit fancy dress, not like super fancy, but definitely not in the rough shape that we're in.
Yeah, he's kind of drinking alone in a corner. He doesn't look like he's depressed or staring into his beer like some people do, but he definitely appears to be enjoying the ambiance just at a slight distance.
Yeah, I also feel like he's probably a people watcher.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Okay, so you enter this tavern. It's not raucous because these aren't these aren't rough and tumble types. They're honest farmers just trying to get a good meal and a drink at the end of the day. But it's relatively noisy. There are a lot of overlapping conversations happening. What are you?
Is there music?
There is not music at the moment, but you can hear tunes coming out of other taverns down the street.
Which means there's more than one bard here if I'm hearing tunes plural out of
it could
plural.
Just be a troubadour, you don't know.
You're pretty the quality of
a minstrel music, it's minstrels.
The quality of music you're hearing does not say bard to you. Yeah,
it does not. Yes, no, I'm way better. I mean, I am.
It says farmer with a flute.
Yeah, Scotch eggs are amazing, and I kind of want them as well now. This map may or may not have been built. This map may or may not have been made by someone who was channeling some real-world delicacies that she enjoyed in some of her LARP games.
See, now I'm hungry. It's fine.
So, what do you do when you go in? You come in. It's crowded. There are some seats available. There's at least one table. It's not like full to the rafters.
Secure a room, let's get lodging secured away, then we can worry about eating and drinking.
Yeah,
so before we go secure lodgings, we're going to check prices.
We're going to check what?
We're going to check prices and accommodations, what level of
we should probably be thrifty.
Oh, I don't give a shit about thriftiness. But I just, some taverns are like, oh yeah, you can sleep on the floor in the main room.
No, thank you. Let's see. I can take point on that.
Sure. Why don't Calder
let the guy who doesn't look like he's been torn into shreds?
Yes.
So the proprietor is as usual a balding guy with a bit of a gut. He's polishing a glass that doesn't look like it needs the cleaning, and so you walk up to him and what do you say?
Good evening, my handsome fellow. Can I bother you for a second?
Well, yes, but I'll tell you that flattery will only get you everywhere.
Well, I'm in good company then, because I would like to rent a couple of rooms.
Ah, fantastic, fantastic. Now, you and your friends, he kind of looks at you, and you can tell that he's immediately sizing up your coin purse by your outfit and everything.
Mm-hmm.
He says, well, we have stable rooms, but I have a feeling that you're not going to be interested in those. Those are a copper piece per night. An ordinary room is a silver piece per night, but we also have an executive suite, as it were, that is 1 gold piece per person per night if you wish to take it.
Well, it depends on the size of the room. If we're only renting one room to share, then that seems to be quite an exorbitant pull on our pocket. Don't you agree?
The executive suite takes up fully half of the 3rd floor of this building.
Yes, but having not seen it, that's still a bit much to ask on anyone's word.
That's entirely fair. Our beds are clean. It's reasonably quiet once the whole clientele leaves. Will you be needing water drawn for a bath?
Yes,
most definitely,
you can
yes.
see like Clary going, because I can.
Most definitely, yes. And so those accommodations at that price do seem more than fair.
Very well. So he will pass over a key, or a set of keys, I should say. The room is a suite essentially. It's a sort of a central gathering area with, let's say, 3 bedrooms and a privy off of it.
I'll pull 4 gold out of my inventory to pay the man.
Phenomenal. With that, you will also be able to eat eat for the evening on that gold. Drinks are a little bit extra depending on how much you have or how much you drink.
I will. I'll thank him, and I'll thank him further by sending just a bottle of wine up to the room. Afterwards, once he has a moment, like not to press upon your time, basically let us settle in, and if there's wine when I open the door, happy day.
Ah, yes, very good, very good. Is there any other accommodations that I can make for you or your companions before I get to it?
Oh yes, we have a pair of mules and a cart that we would like settled in.
We absolutely have. Hey, boy! Like a dirty-faced, like 12 or 13-year-old comes out. Go take care of these folks' mounts.
I'm gonna step up, but behind, like next to Calder, and I will go. Actually, I have my own footman and my own driver.
Oh, well then, phenomenal.
Let the boy lead the mules to the stables. That seems only fair.
It does make him feel useful.
I'll flick the boy a copper.
Nice. He catches it deftly, makes it disappear into somewhere, and heads out to stable your It's all mules, right?
Yeah, it's all mules.
Okay.
So.
Good stuff. Just making sure. Speaking of footmen and drivers, where are they sleeping?
I'm gonna have that conversation.
Phenomenal.
With them, because I don't want to I don't want to put them somewhere they don't want to be.
I will then turn with the key, gesturing to Clarion to join me up at the room and allow Hyacinth to negotiate the rates for her men.
Excellent. So
their men.
Go ahead.
Sorry, their men. I apologize.
Their men.
Yes. So Clarion and Calder head upstairs.
For the moment. Yes.
Lovely. So as Hyacinth is bartering, and it's not going to be difficult for you to secure stable lodging for them. That'll just be included. But if you decide to get them actual rooms, then it'll be the standard silver piece per night.
I'm probably going to go with the stable lodging.
Yeah, they're used to that.
Sense. I'll probably
sleep by their charges.
Yeah, well, I have 3 retainers. So, footman, driver, and then I have a a valet. And I would put the valet in a room.
Excellent. And Barnabas is with you as usual. He is staying sort of quiet and in the background, but he will stay downstairs with Hyacinth while you are negotiating. And as you are sort of discussing these things, a pair of people come into the inn, and they seem to be having a conversation. And one of them says, "Look, I'm just saying, if I can plant these things and get them to grow, it'll make me a ton of money, but the goddamn goblins keep stealing my trees." And then the woman next to him goes, "Look, why would goblins steal trees? That doesn't make any sense." And that kind of is the conversation that they're having as they come in.
Okay, so I'll finish negotiating then. And Calder and Clarion went off someplace.
They went upstairs to check. They went up to scope out the accommodations, and I will check back in with them in a moment.
Fantastic. I apologize for not keeping up the accent. Can't remember which one it is.
That's fair.
So I'll notice these this farmer pair.
They don't necessarily look like farmers, actually. Their hands are much too soft, if that makes sense. Like, you immediately do not peg these folks as working outdoors types.
Okay, so someone at least up the round. Yeah, so where are they headed? Because I want to head them off.
They're heading toward a table.
Oh, okay. I will get to that table first.
Sure.
And I will sit down at that table.
They begin to, like, they notice you doing that, and in the way of people, they sort of begin to veer off towards another table.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop them. Like, friends, of course. There's more than enough room.
Well, thank you. I interestingly don't believe I recognize you. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Werner Lang. I'm the mayor of this fine town. How are you today? What brings you to Oakhurst?
I am Hyacinth Duchard. I am with some of my friends, and we are looking into your ridge. Just adventurers on the road.
Adventurers, you say? Well, we don't get adventurers here very often. In fact, the last time we did, well, they never came back, let's just say.
So there is a mystery here, too.
Yes, well, they were interested in, I don't know if you know about this, but this village is becoming famous for our apple export.
Really now?
Yes. Every so often we come into a small number of apples every summer and every winter, and they fetch an extraordinarily high price. I have been attempting to cultivate these plants myself, being something of a former farmer myself. But for some reason, I manage to get the seeds planted, they grow, and then I'm almost certain that the goblins are the ones that sell us these apples in the first place. I'm pretty sure they don't want us getting in on their monopoly. I think they're coming at night and stealing my trees.
Have you posted a guard for this thing?
I have, and they've never seen anything. And anytime we try to find out where they've went, these goblins seem to leave no tracks. It's very concerning.
Are you sure it's the goblins, then? If there is no tracks.
Well,
and no one has seen anything.
What else could it be? The trees didn't simply walk away.
Well, I'm not saying that I didn't get attacked by trees recently, but I did.
Wait, you what?
Yeah, there were some bush creatures on the way into town.
Oh, I see. You're mad. I understand. And he
Oh, I wish only if I were, but I am not, unfortunately.
And someone from another table over, one of the farmers, turns and said, I told you. My cattle have been being attacked by something. My cattle have been being attacked by something, and it looks like they end up with all of these punctures and scratches. As though they fell into a bush or a tree. And you're saying
about this long, you say, maybe perhaps thorns about yay? Well, how about this? How about this, Mr. Mayor? How about my friends and I help you with your problem?
Well, I mean, I certainly would accept it, but again, the last adventuring party that told me that they were going to help me with my problem left for the Sunless Citadel and never returned.
I mean, like, sure, but if you're looking at something simple like guard some plants for a day or two, I just see no reason why we could not try.
Well,
And
I mean,
if perhaps these plants are actually getting up and walking on their own, at least we would be able to tell you.
well, it'll be some time before I can plant my new crop, but if you're around for the next few weeks, the answer will definitely be yes, but my latest attempt has vanished on me just last night.
Ooh, last night. So if you say there are goblins in the area, then of course maybe we could go look them down for you.
The goblins are we don't know exactly where they come from, but we hear rumors here in town of an area called the Sunless Citadel, some sort of underground church or cathedral or something. That is what the other adventurers were looking for, and I have no idea whether they found it or whether it actually exists.
Well, since there is some mystery there, of course, we could check that out for you as well. Yes, maybe perhaps we don't come back, but maybe we do. Either way, you get answers, or you don't have to pay us.
Well, I think that sounds like a fantastic plan. I would like to offer you, let's say, I'm very interested in finding these former adventurers. If you can bring these adventurers back to me, if you can bring them to me alive, I will pay you 100 gold pieces each per adventurer you bring back. And if they are dead, each one wears a signet ring, and I would be very, very appreciative if you would bring that back as proof of death, as it were.
Okay. And how long ago did these adventurers go?
Oh, it must have been what? And he turns to assumedly his wife. How long ago was that? And she goes, I think 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
2 weeks missing. I don't know. That is
not so long that I'm concerned. I don't know why he's so concerned about it. I mean, adventurers often are gone for months before they come back, but yeah, he's paranoid.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair, of course. So 100 if for each one returned healthy or at least alive.
At least alive.
And how much for just these signet rings?
50. Half as much.
That's not good. All right. Okay. And is there anything else besides a simple search and rescue mission you are looking at?
Well, I mean, if you can get to the bottom of where these apples are coming from, I'd be very appreciative.
I mean, definitely interested in that.
Perhaps enough to give you a stake in the building or in the business I'm attempting to put together with it.
And what percentage would that be?
Well, we'll have to find out whether it's even a viable business first, yes? I need to actually be able to grow a fruit before I can make any decisions on business.
I will not be a capitalist. I will not be a capitalist. I will not be a capitalist.
You're an adventurer. You're allowed to be a capitalist. Adventurers are capitalists.
I'm a noble. I'm allowed to be a capitalist. I will bring it up with my friends. But this simple search and rescue, of course, we can look into that.
Well, thank you. Can I buy you a drink?
Of course you can.
So he'll.
Do you have anything that you recommend?
He'll buy a round for the folks who are down here. Barnabas, of course, will take a good dwarven stout. What does Hyacinth order? Let's assume that it's got a reasonably open bar.
Oh goodness, something fruity.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna say probably. He's gonna go for a cider.
Excellent. And yes, cider of not non-magical apple cider.
That's perfectly fine.
Okay. So as you're beginning to sit down and eat, let's move on to Clarion and Calder. So you head on upstairs. The second floor is just a bunch of single rooms. The third floor has sort of a hallway that kind of bisects the building. And on one side of that hallway, there are more single rooms. And on the other side of the hallway is the suite. Is there anything in particular you're doing or looking for, or what's going on?
Like normal stuff. Check for, just checking for like peepholes, evidence of spying, evidence of, again, like the view of the window to see what we can see.
Go ahead and make an investigation check.
Sure. Skills, investigation. Ah.
There we go.
Oh,
I roll a 3.
As far as you can tell, this room is perfectly safe.
That's fine.
Legit.
That's in character. My first goal is bath.
Phenomenal. And Clarion, what are you up to when you're up there while Calder is sort of scoping the room out and seeing if there are any horrible things in store?
Yep, these are walls and a roof.
How clean it is.
It is quite clean. This room clearly does not get a lot of use, so there's a little bit of dust here and there, but it's definitely clearly well maintained otherwise. They just weren't expecting a bunch of nobles to come in and, take up the whole upper stairs. Within a few minutes, both water and the bottle of wine will be brought up to you by a couple of sort of stone-faced, pages.
Thank you.
How long is it going to take the bath that we ordered to come up? Because
I will cast the cantrip shape water and just dump the water into the tub without splashing it.
One of the pages kind of like, for a second goes loose jawed for a second, and he goes, "Oh, you're one of those magic people."
Yes, precisely that. I'll then begin swirling my fingers and make the water just move into a cyclone.
So
partially because
cool.
Partially because it's impressive, but also jacuzzi. So
yeah. So yeah,
you're be hot.
You're able to get bathed pretty quickly. Yes, the water is. I mean, it's not boiling, but it's definitely it's at least lukewarm.
A part of me wants to say, can I use control fire just to keep the fire contained so that warms the water?
Yes.
I can do that then.
That's totally fine. So you are.
This is probably a regular thing for us as spoiled adventurers. So
we are
using control water and control fire to make bath water. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Mm-hmm. If you had a cantrip, what would you use it for?
Sounds like a cantrip.
Yeah. So
we're gonna dilate time a little bit, and we'll say that the two of you have cleaned yourselves up. You are coming back downstairs to the common room where
with my loot,
where Hyacinth and Barnabas are sitting with the mayor and his wife and enjoying a nice meal of Joe's special.
I have the mayor's name again, please?
Yes, the mayor's name is Vurnor, Vurnor. Leng, Leng.
And his wife's name?
And his wife's name is Beatrice.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Can I go back up to the proprietor and see if he's looking for someone to provide a little entertainment this evening and perhaps earn back some of that gold we just spent on that room?
He looks down at your loot and he looks up at you and he says, "Oh, well, I mean, we have some folks that like to pick strings every now and then, but we haven't had a professional musician in Oakhurst for some time. So yes, by all means, I can offer you, let's say, a 50 silver base rate, and then whatever tips you make, of course, you'll get to keep."
All right. Where's the best corner?
He'll point off towards the hearth. there is already like a stool in front of the hearth specifically for this sort of thing.
All right, just keep me moistened with drink, and I will entertain you.
Before you go over there, did I hear properly? Are you and your friends heading to the Sunless Citadel? Is that your aim here?
Maybe.
Possibly. I mean,
we
really are just adventurers. We don't know.
You are the third group of people that I've seen who have asked about the Sunless Citadel.
And what happened to the first two?
Well, the last one you just spoke with the mayor about, that was a few weeks ago. Before that, this must have been 12 years ago. Someone decided that they were searching for the Sunless Citadel as well. That's why I was so interested in your conversation, because I haven't heard the word since then. And his name was Belak. He was a very dour gentleman, didn't tip very well. He was looking for the Sunless Citadel. He didn't say why. I told him I didn't know where it was and let him on his way.
One probably does tend to remember the good and the bad tippers.
Indeed. He also had a giant frog with him, which was also very memorable.
That, I would agree, that would tend to be memorable. What's Hyacinth? I say, looking around the room.
I am drinking with the mayor. Or I am currently in the process of a Joe special.
What is the mayor and his wife drinking?
They are drinking red wine.
Do they have a bottle?
No, they just have glasses that are being tapped.
Cool. I will ask to buy a bottle of whatever they're drinking, so I can make a good impression.
Fantastic. Yeah, that works. And in fact, I will go ahead and give you and your party a +2 circumstance bonus on the next charisma-based check that you make. Good stuff. They are absolutely happy to it's always good to share drinks with friends or new acquaintances.
My intent is to be as ruthlessly charming as I can be to them. So
excellent. Let's go ahead and
because reminder, I am a tiefling. It's not a subtle thing.
That's true. And in fact, I don't think I asked you about this. What makes your tiefling nature obvious? What physical characteristics make your tiefling nature obvious?
Calder looks outwardly from a distance looks like a very deeply tanned person, but up close his skin is almost literally metallic bronze. The sclera of his eyes are gray, almost black, and he has very bright blue eyes. On top of that, you can see in his hairline peeking out are tiny violet-colored horns.
So one of those types where the sort of almost exotic nature of your features is part of what makes people drawn to you, I imagine.
Yeah, exactly. Calder does not look human.
Excellent.
If you are drunk and at a distance, you might see him as something else entirely, but you wouldn't. But up close, it's not really mistakable.
Before you go, I'll go ahead and give you the names of the adventurers you're looking for, so that you know whether you found the right ones.
Oh, so
thank you.
So the two brother and sister who actually come from this village are. What are their names? There
we could ask Jack their names if we don't want to use the actual ones.
That's fair. Talgen, Talgen, and Sharwin. Those are the names. Those are the two names. Talgen and Sharwin. A fighter and a wizard, respectively. There is a paladin named Sir Bradford, and specifically, you learn that Sir Bradford carries a magical weapon named Shatterspike. A magical sword, that is. And finally, a ranger named Karakas, Karakas.
That name one more time?
Karakas, Karakas. So a fighter, a wizard, a paladin, and a ranger. Do you have anything else you would like to do before we take our long rest?
I'm going to.
Oh yes, you're performing.
Yeah, I'm performing. I'm going to obviously unlimber my lady and tune her up. My question is would I know any songs about the Sunless Citadel? Will there be songs about the Sunless Citadel?
Sure, why not? It's definitely it's a kind of an obscure legend, but it's one that's known. Hartman says first heckler gets El Kabong. I love it.
It's part of you just do it in rhythm and it keeps going.
Can I augment her performance with minor illusion, just like to get like a drum or a beat going?
Absolutely amazing. Yes. So what I'm gonna do, Jen, go ahead and make a performance check and take advantage because you are essentially being given HD graphics by Calder.
Okay.
It's minor illusion. I can only do like an auditory or a visual thing.
Performance.
And sure, a room that can hear a drum beat. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Please remind me how to do this. I'm going to go over here and...
The first thing you want to do is you want to go down to the very bottom of the table and click on the advantage button.
Yeah.
And then you will want to drag the skill from your character sheet onto the chat.
Okay, so...
The little dice thing right next to the total button.
To the chat. Only records which I own can be shared. I did not click the correct thing, did I?
No.
All right.
No, it's the on the right side under totals. You see each bracket has a little like a square with the plus or minus number, and there's a little like it looks like
I clicked on the thing next to it. I've done that before.
You want the tiny D20?
Ah, there we go. Wow.
Really? Oh no.
Oh wow.
Are you kidding me?
Wow. So
tough chat, please.
So I mean, why don't you go ahead and describe to me how you bomb? We've all had this, right? Anyone who's ever been a performer has gone up and either played or it happens to comedians all the time. You know, they do an incredible set and for some reason the audience just is not vibing with it. So what happens that makes the crowd turn on you?
What happens is that I start with what I think are going to be funny comedy songs about bucolic farming areas, and they start to seem like this is insulting to them. So then...
And that just poisons the mood.
It poisons the mood. So then... I'm a professional. I'm like, well, let me try songs about the Sunless Citadel. But for some reason that depresses them. And I start to hear shuffling and people aren't paying attention. And I am tired because I've taken a bath, but I haven't really rested.
Yeah.
And I fumble a couple of chords. And So then I'm like, well, let's turn this again to a different thing. So I'm like, screw it, body songs. But these people don't like body songs.
Yeah, if they wanted that, they'd go. If they wanted that, they'd go to the Blue Serpent or the Indiscretion.
The Blue Serpent, yes.
Or the Indiscretion.
You managed to pull 16 copper pieces worth of tips. There are a few like it almost seems like some of them are giving you money out of pity.
No.
And again, your playing is good. Your playing is good, and Lionar in chat mentioned singing good, lute playing good, reading the room horrible. Absolutely, 100%. That's the way it goes. Stormcrow, welcome. Glad you're here. At least glad that you showed up for a bit. If you're not able to make or stick around, that's totally fine. But I'm glad you showed up.
Shush money.
Here's $1,000. Never talk to me
just
again.
never sing again.
Do you take requests?
This
Please
is
stop.
literally
Please
the
stop.
opposite of the roles I was doing on Saturday when I was playing my Shadowrun. I was like kicking butt. Every role I did was like triumph, triumph, triumph. So this is my
This is karma.
This is karma.
This is the scene from the Blues Brothers when they're inside the country bar and they only know one country song.
Yes, I Blues Brothers.
But then they somehow managed to pull a full set out of their asses. I'm not sure how that goes.
That's because they play the same song over and over again.
But hey, remember, they leave that bar owing the bar like $100.
Hundreds and hundreds of dollars, yes.
So like that's a perfectly good analogy in this case.
So anything else folks are doing before we take our long rest and move on to the next day?
I'm gonna go take that bath.
I'm just gonna stomp up and
I will provide
country
the same
yokels.
I'll provide the same trick for Hyacinth just in the background because I figured that's one of my roles during evening cooldown is making sure that everyone has a proper dignified bath.
Eventually, Sherog stumbles into the suite, and when I say stumble, I mean stumble. Like this is the stumble in, and she is definitely giving it a run for its money.
God, how did she even find us?
She's very drunk. Good question. She's very drunk.
Well, she had a map. That's how.
And she's
but she didn't know which inn we went to.
We sent Barnabas out to go get her. Like, let's be honest.
Okay.
She is carrying, as she comes in, the biggest. You're pretty sure that's not turkey. You're pretty sure that leg isn't turkey because the turkey leg is fully the size of her head. She mumbles something about the blue serpent having roast axe beak as a delicacy today, and then passes out on the floor.
Help me get her into a bed.
Sherog is heavy.
Yeah, that's why I said. That's why I asked for help.
I will help with that. Yeah.
She's not like, I mean, she's tall. She's not like big, but like she is solidly built. And yeah, it takes.
Sure she's buffer than the rest of us.
She takes some muscling to get into the bed. We will establish this with Alexis later, but you will notice something as you are muscling her into bed that might end up leaving you with a hint to her noble heritage. But we will come up with what exactly that is when we have our Alexis back.
I figured we will definitely we all like Sherg, so we'll like make sure that Sherg is like properly clean, tucked in. All of her gear is very nearby.
Yeah.
Big mug of water.
A big mug of water. Hair is like the hair is immaculately combed.
Hey Nathaniel, sorry, some of my commands don't work yet. But hello, good to see you here.
We practice good team help self-care here, so
yes.
Listen, we're a bunch of short kings with one giant woman, okay?
All I want to be is someone who can see. Anyway.
So long rest, I get my spell slot back, right?
Is to come up to the knee.
What I'm going to do is on this menu, I'm going to go ahead and have you take a long rest, and that should cure all your wounds and everything in your character sheets.
Oh, neat.
So I have applied the long rest. You go to sleep. You are not accosted in any way. It's actually really nice and quiet. You wake up the next morning fresh and early, except for Sherog, who has the hangover to end all hangovers.
F for Sherog.